I want to take this area and turn it into this. Alright, my name's Brian. Welcome to the Small Work Shed. On today's video, we're going to work on organizing the shop a little bit better. As I mentioned in my last video, that I wanted to build a French Cleat Wall to help organize this back area above my smaller workbench. Today's materials are going to be 3/4 inch birch plywood, double sanded. What that means is that both sides are finished and sanded. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive for this type of project, but it's what Lowe's had at the moment. I decided to purchase them pre-made in the 4 by 4 sections, as they were easier for me to handle at that time. You can go buy a full 4 by 8 section of plywood and cut it down yourself. Save you a little bit of money. The cost difference is about $10. One of the benefits for using a 4 by 4 pre-cut section is that the project I'm doing, I only have about a 4 by 4 section, so I don't need to really measure and recut it. One of the first things we need to do to get started is we need to clear out this space. Here I took a sheet of plywood, set my fence to 4 inches, and proceeded to rip them down to 4-inch increments, which I'll later cut in half to make the final cleats. Out of this one section, I was able to get 11 4-inch slats of plywood. When figuring out how wide to set your fence for cutting the 45-degree angle, something I refer to as cleat math, it's a very, very simple formula. It's 1/2 the width minus 1/2 the thickness equals fence placement. So, you have a 4-inch wide strip of plywood that is 3/4 inches thick. So, 1/2 of 4 is 2 inches minus 1/2 of 3/4, which is 3/8 inches, yields a 1 inch and 5/8 fence plate. I laid out a measurements of 5-inch spacing, made the marks on the plywood, then followed up with a simple drywall T-square to draw straight lines all the way across the board. I chose 5 inches as my spacing because that allowed for the most amount of cleats on my wall section. I test fitted to make sure that my cleats were lined up properly and that I could fit in a tool cleat easily. I lined up all my cleats ready to be attached to the wall. I applied a thin bead of wood glue, then fastened the cleats using brad nails. To add for strength and durability, I came back through and applied 1.5-inch wood screws to each cleat. After checking for level, I used a simple spare wood piece as a brace, then utilized 3-inch wood screws to attach the wall to these studs. That about wraps up this project for today. How have you done the spacing a little bit differently? Do you like the idea that I had of the 5-inch spacing? Or would you have gone a little bit further and maybe increased it to 6, 8, 10, 12, whatever? Comment down below on how you would have done your spacing if you were building the same project. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like button for this video and hit subscribe so you can be notified of when I post future builds and updates.